are so many myths about living in Arizona. There are some that are just downright wrong. Look, if you are thinking about moving to the greater Phoenix area and you want to know if these things are true or not, you're not going to want to miss this video because we're going to get down after it right after this. Hey guys, it's Sheryl Willis over at the Real Agent Now group right here in Phoenix, Arizona. And if this is the first time to our channel, you're going to want to tap that little subscribe button and click that little bell so that you are notified each and every time we release a new video. We are getting dozens of calls every single day and we love it. Look, if you're thinking about moving to the greater Phoenix area and you're just not sure if this is right for you and you keep hearing all this weird stuff, is that true? Is it not true? Could I live there? Would I like it? How about even just like where you're going to enjoy your lifetime, your weekends, your evenings, your family time, your vacation time, eat, sleep, drink, we got it covered. But you need to pick up that phone, give us a call, shoot us a text, send us an email, days, nights, weekends. We got your back when moving to Phoenix, Arizona. All right, guys, let's get at it right now. Okay, myth number one, Arizona is all desert. You couldn't be more wrong. You know, it's really funny actually. In some of my older videos, when I had some editing done with some editors from out of the country, and they were trying to put in images and video slides of what I refer to as up north, up in the mountains, up in the like camping areas, they would still put pictures of like Sedona and Grand Canyon. I get it. That's what most people think, literally in the world, that Arizona is nothing but rock and cactus. We do have a lot of it, and there are some beautiful desert areas, but there are some amazing high elevation, beautiful trees, lakes, rivers, waterfalls, fishing spots, camping spots. I am telling you, if you are looking for that getaway, we have an abundance of it. Let me tell you, some of my favorite cities, I live in the greater Phoenix area, and my quick trip is to Payson. Payson's only about an hour and 15 minutes from the greater Phoenix area, depending on where you live. And you are right up in the mountains. My second favorite place to visit is Prescott. Yes, it's pronounced Prescott, not Prescott. Prescott, Arizona, also home to the oldest rodeo, is one of the most charming old towns that you ever did see. And it used to actually be our capital, if you go back like a couple hundred years ago. It really has a lot of antique stores, some super charming bungalow, cottage type homes, but then they also have a lot of cabins and that mountain-esque hiking areas, if that's what you like. Now, my next favorite place to go is a little tiny town called Parks, Arizona. It's not too far from Williams, which is just outside of Flagstaff. And I'm telling you, there are so many charming little towns way up in the North Country that has anywhere from 20 to 30 degrees below the greater Phoenix area. It's only a hop and a skip away. So myth number one, Arizona's all desert, smashed. Number two myth, the only place to go in Arizona is the Grand Canyon, Sedona, and Scottsdale. You know what? Those are the tourist spots. And anybody that lives in the greater Phoenix area full-time, we avoid those three locations. I'm telling you, I myself have been to the Grand Canyon a couple of times in the last many years. That's because I'm also a hiker, and one of the world-renowned hiking excursions. And if you ever get a chance, you need to hike Havasupai. Havasupai is a tribe that still resides at the bottom of the Grand Canyon, and you have to get permits to go down there. They only allow 300 people per day, and permits are only for 4 days, 3 nights. You can't get it shorter and you can't get it longer. And so this keeps people in and out. And I am telling you, you will not find a piece of trash anywhere. And the local folk, they either love you or they don't. You find people literally both ends. Like some of the natives just absolutely love having the visitors in and really enjoying, Mother Nature at its finest. And they're very grateful for obviously all all the money that they are receiving from all of us that are invading their spot. And then there's the other ones. And let me tell you, for those of you who just physically feel like you can't get back out of the canyon because it's 12 miles down and then you camp down there. And I mean, like you bring everything on your back. You bring your dishware, your clothes, your food, absolutely everything on your back. So if you are tired by the end of this and can't make the 12-mile hike back up, I have a helicopter, which if you're a real hiker, you're not going to do that. But anyways, the helicopter ride outside of Havasupai is $80. And it was hilarious because they were, they had a hose and they were hosing down the area where the helicopter was coming in. And let me tell you, there was all these people waiting in line to get a ride up, and the locals get first priority. And I think there was only like 4 or 6 seats on the helicopter. And this is how they get in and out. This is also how they get their food, their rationings. If they want to come up into town and get things, they get free rides. And only when there's a spot available will one of the hikers get a chance. So you could be sitting there waiting for the helicopter for literally like 8 to 10 hours. But anyways, so it was getting dusty and he took the hose and he was just, he didn't care if your backpack was there. He didn't care if you were standing there. He just took that hose and nailed everyone. So some of them are welcoming, some of them aren't. But let me tell you, I've been to the Grand Canyon a few times. Most people that live in the greater Phoenix area haven't been there in many years. Also Sedona, I'm a hiker again. So I was just up there about 2 weeks ago. I try and get there as often as I possibly can. But let me tell you, I do not go into town and I do not go to the popular trails. I drove by, it's called Slide Rock State Park. And again, when you're looking on travel, whatever, the travel recommendations or whatever, and they say like the top 10 spots to go in the state, Grand Canyon's on there, right? Sedona's on there, and Slide Rock State Park is on there. So it has turned into this, if you ask me, it's kind of like a Disneyland, right? Like the line of cars to get in, and now you got to pay to park, and and hours, like, heck no. Check out this video. I found a little watering spot in the same river just up the road. So locals will find their areas, but we don't go to the Sedona that everybody else does when you come to visit. And Scottsdale, let me tell you, I love Scottsdale. It is so much fun. I love going up there to go shopping. Or let's say it's a girls' night out. I love to go meet the ladies and have a drink and then head home. Do I literally live, work, and play in Scottsdale? No, I do not. So there's so much more to our Phoenix metro area. There's so much more in Arizona, and it is not just about those only 3 locations. So myth number 2, smashed. Myth number 3, everyone in Arizona has a tan. No, it's actually kind of funny. Now, because I'm a hiker, I have a hiker's tan. It's serious. I have a hiker's tan. So I have tan arms and tan legs, but from mid-body to thigh-high, not so much. I have a pool and I rarely enjoy it. When I first moved here, I was all about it, right? I had to have a pool and I would lay out with my friends, but nobody, after you live here for a while, nobody does that. Unless your friends come to visit you and stay at the house, then you get to enjoy your pool. Or maybe they're staying at a nice resort and I want to go hang out with them at the pool. But the point is, not everyone has a tan. And even though my face looks tan, I'm wearing SPF 50, and then this is all foundation and all this stuff, but not everybody here in Arizona has a tan. You will see people with funny tan lines on their feet because we do forget to put sunscreen on our feet, and especially guys, I see this on guys all the time. I think women change their shoes way more, right? But guys, especially if they have Birkenstocks or flip-flops, you can definitely tell. So not everybody here has a tan, and everybody has their favorite sunscreen or SPF, and it's just part of your routine every single day. All right. So myth number 3, everyone has a tan? No. All right. Number 4, everyone here is retired. It's a bunch of old people. Not even close. So it's funny how literally the country is broken up in half as far as like retirement destinations. And on the eastern part of the United States, everybody tends to go to Florida. And on the western part of the United States, everybody goes to Arizona. kind of. So Palm Springs is another big retirement area, as is parts of Nevada. So it's kind of spread out a little bit more. And also because it's mostly the greater Phoenix area that the retirees move to, that's where the mass majority of the adult communities are. I'm not saying they don't live elsewhere in the state, but for the most part, they come to the greater Phoenix area. And because it is kind of a condensed area as opposed to an entire state, we also are a very large metropolitan area. We have a lot of high-tech jobs. We have healthcare, obviously, because of the retirees. We have amazing healthcare. We also have all kinds of manufacturing, distribution. Like, we have so many jobs, and it's all in one area. So my point is, in Florida, 30% of population in Florida is retirees. A third, 1 out of every 3 people is a retiree or of retiree age. I think mostly retirees because they don't have, again, the job base that we do. The greater Phoenix area, it's only 12%. Only 12% of our population is retirees. So when you have the large adult communities, that's where they vastly live. I'm not saying, again, everywhere. We have some of the most amazing adult communities. And some of them, even right now, there's some brand new ones that are as low of an age, I know that sounds weird, as 45. 45 is still very youthful, like so much life left. And again, if you think about it, back in the day, people really would retire. People are working later in life. 65 is very young. My mom is in her 80s and she's still running around and doing stuff. It's a different world now when it comes to retirees. But because there's so many financial benefits and lifestyle benefits, and we're not just talking old, like manufactured home kind of communities. So the adult communities have, obviously, of that 12%, a very, very large population is in those areas. In the non-age specific communities, adult communities, you're going to find a vast majority of families or younger homeowners that don't have children, but it's going to be 87% non-retiree age. So when compared to Florida, and it's funny because when I talk to people when they move here from Florida, they ask, is it the same way? That's just one thing we don't like about here. And I was like, you know what? I mean, I live right next door to a retired couple and they're amazing. They're not the nosy neighbors. They're not walking around making sure you don't have an HOA violation. They're not in your business. It's just completely different. So for the overall greater Phoenix area, believe it or not, the median age now is only 35 years old. We are bringing in so many young, talented professionals that even though we were predominantly known as a retirement destination, now they are a smaller population. So number 4, that we're a bunch of old retirees? No. Myth number 5, everyone has a swimming pool. No. You know, I do have to say that depending on the area of town and also the price point of that part of town, it has a lot of bearing whether or not the homes or the neighborhood has more pools than not. In the higher priced communities, I would definitely say that the amount of pools are going to be somewhere between 50 and even 60% of the homes have a swimming pool. I would say most of the communities that are below our median price, which right now is $485,000 for a single level home, anything in that median price point and below, I would say less than 30% have a pool. In fact, if you go into even some of the lower price point neighborhoods that were really lower price point before we started seeing the values jump up over the last couple of years, there are many homes that don't even have backyards completed. So there is that dissemination. Again, if a pool is important to you, I would highly recommend that you buy a home with a pool in it. To build a pool now these days, not only does it take about about 6 to 9 months, depending on materials. At one point, we did have a little bit of the shotcrete, which is part of building that pool. We had a shortage here in Arizona. And so it was up to 12 months before we could get a brand new pool built. Also, the base price of pools have skyrocketed. Imagine that. Not like anything else has it, right? But a base pool right now, you'll be lucky if you can get one for $50,000 to $60,000, and that is just a basic pool with minimal cool decking around it. So myth number 5, that everyone has a pool. No, this is the biggest myth I think I always hear, and it's so wrong. Number 6, that Arizona has the worst schools in America. Look, if you do go online and you look at outdated data, you are going to find Arizona public schools near the very bottom. But Arizona is riddled with the most amazing, world-class, top-performing private schools, Montessori schools, charter schools, and even homeschool ratings. Let me tell you, Arizona has the most expansive education options in the nation, thanks to our current Governor Ducey, the most comprehensive voucher system that will be going into effect right away. This is such a great opportunity for people, especially dealing with some of the education situations in some of their states where they don't agree with maybe the way the schools are teaching things or what they're teaching things. Here in Arizona, now instead of the money going to the schools automatically where you live and automatically the house says that you are in this boundary. First, most of the schools here have an open enrollment, not all of them, but most of them. So this helps people that can't afford to live in the most expensive parts of town, which are typically built right around those schools that have the 5 out of the 5 ratings. But now instead of money going to the system, the money stays with the student. And so that $7,000 goes wherever the parents tell it to go. What a great thing, especially for homeschool kids. I have so many friends that are currently homeschooling or have homeschooled their children, and they don't get any kind of financial funding, but they knew their money was going straight to the schools. So now those parents that are doing the homeschooling, I can think of right off the top of my head, it is going to be such an awesome benefit. Think of the field trips, the books. Books are expensive and people don't even really buy the books anymore. They do completely online stuff. So just think of all the opportunities that people have now here in Greater Phoenix area. So no longer do you have to go to maybe one of the lower rated schools. Not only are there top rated public schools in almost every city, but now you can choose maybe to go to one of the basis schools or the great academies or Legacy or ALA. There are so many amazing private and charter schools here in the Greater Phoenix area, top rated, that you now have the money to designate where you want your children to go. And when you get to the postgraduate level, ASU, #1 college, not just 1 year, 7 years in a row, voted by US News and World Report, 7 years running as the #1 most innovative college in America. That's ASU, right in smack downtown Tempe, but they have campuses, off-campus locations throughout the Greater Phoenix area. So let me tell you, myth #6, that we have bad schools, so not true. #7, I can't believe people say this. Arizona is so boring. So wrong. Boom. Let's show a quick clip of all the fun things to do in Arizona. that right. Number 8, Arizona has no culture. You know, there was a time that I thought that as well, because as I went back to New York City, Seattle, Washington, San Francisco, Philadelphia, Chicago, when I was going back to these towns, these cities, massive cities that were hundreds of years old, like they were game changers, you know, at the turn of the century. I felt like Arizona didn't have any culture either. It's just different culture. We are the epitome of the wild, wild west. And there is so many things to see about our Arizona culture and history. It's also, when you go back 100 years ago, this was all Indian lands. So learning about Arizona history is more of a state thing in Arizona than it is a city, like I mentioned in the other larger cities. We have learned so much about the Native American culture, and it's so fun to go to some of the opportunities and the exhibits that you can appreciate some of Arizona's history from, again, a couple hundred years ago. If you are looking for something a little bit more recent, like maybe heading on down to Tombstone and be a part of the Wild Wild West, or there's also the movie theater place in Old Tucson where John Wayne used to film movies. Come on, you guys, that's history, is it not? It's just more recent history and more recent culture. Now, if you really want some fun times, you're going to follow Route 66 that goes all the way through Arizona, and you are going to find some of the most charming towns and all kinds of breweries along the way and hiking trails and camping spots. There is a lot of history, and you can see a lot of it on our day-to-day experience in Old Town Scottsdale. They have really stayed true to who they are. In February, they even have a rodeo in Scottsdale. They have a big parade. So you will see a lot of what our culture and our heritage is throughout the state. It's just not like what the big cities have. We're a new big city, but we do have a lot of culture and history. So number 8, that we have no culture, boo. Okay, number 9, there is no good restaurants in Arizona. Really? Let me tell you, from contemporary sushi to upscale gastropubs, the culinary scene in the greater Phoenix area is full of surprises, nonstop. We have so many restaurants popping up here with some of the most world-renowned chefs. I'm telling you, there is world-class restaurants all over the Grand Canyon State. So here are some of my favorites. Like, for instance, if you are a sushi eater, I love this location too. It's at the Sheraton Grand Wild Horse Pass, just outside of the Chandler area. It's called Kai. Kai has, oh my gosh, we're talking outstanding. Plan on maybe a 2 or 3 hour 5-course meal. I'm telling you, it's absolutely incredible, breathtaking. And I'm coming from California, where there is a lot of great sushi choices. I'm telling you, this place is going to leave a heart in Arizona for sushi. My next favorite, everybody loves pizza, right? Who doesn't? Well, it is worth the drive. When you come on down here, it is worth the drive to head on over to downtown Phoenix, Pizzeria Bianco. I am telling you, it is the cutest, littlest, charmingest restaurant. You will always have a wait if you go during normal lunch hours. So try and go off the beaten path time. It is a wood-fired pizza with the most incredible crust and sauce. It is insane. Make sure you get plenty to take home too, and they are huge servings. Another one, and this is a great one for date night. This is called A Different Point of View. Get it? Point of View. And guess what? It is at the Point Tapatio at North Mountain. It is the most amazing, incredible views. Now, if the date doesn't go well, I can just be talking about the beautiful view and enjoying the most elegant feast you have ever tried in this desert. All right, and my super favorite, I love this place, whether you're looking for a brunch, a lunch, or an evening enjoyment. This is in Central Phoenix. It's kind of hidden. You'd never know it was here. As you're driving to get there, you're thinking, where am I going? It is called Quiescence at the Farm. And they also, I think it's also South Mountain, the farm at South Mountain. That's what it is. The farm at South Mountain. And it has a dirt parking lot, and it has all these beautiful trees and picnic tables. They have all kinds, they have weddings, they have events, and then they also serve food in the restaurant part. It is stunning in the evening with all the lights and the trees, and the food is just to die for. And they have some of the best wine selection that I have ever seen. So let me tell you, Arizona, not having great culinary experiences. No, that one's not right either. Oh, right. The last one and the biggest myth of them all is Arizona is expensive. Myth? Yes, depending on what you are coming here for. Is Arizona cheap like it was 10, 15 years ago? It is not. We started to see a ton of inbound migration even before COVID. We were the fastest growing county in America. Over the last 5 years, we've been ranked in the top 3 to 5 every single year. And then of course, in the last couple years, post-COVID, we have seen an exponential explosion in prices. This is both rent and also home purchases. But depending on why you're moving here, if you are moving here for a job, because we are slated as one of the top job growing markets in America over the next 10 years. So we are seeing more and more high paying technology jobs, semiconductor, chip manufacturing. We also have healthcare. We have different parts of bioscience. We have aviation. We have all the autonomous vehicle companies moving here. I'm telling you, it is higher income that is moving to the greater Phoenix area. So let's break it down a little bit, depending on where you're coming from. If you are a single individual, if you are a homeowner with no childcare costs, and we're not going to talk about taxes, if you are making $100,000 in any of these cities, this is what it would feel like moving to the greater Phoenix area. My number one top client is coming in from the Seattle, Washington area. Now there's different parts of the greater Phoenix area, just like the show areas all over the place, right? There's higher costs in 8 different areas. So I kind of took 2 middle areas in the greater Phoenix area, Chandler being kind of the higher price point and Glendale being more moderate. Now, are these the most expensive? No. Are they the least expensive? No, but it gives you kind of an idea of what it would cost. If you were moving to Chandler from Seattle, housing cost is 50% less, and your cost of living would be 31% less. So it's not just about the housing, it's also about all the ancillary costs that are involved, like gas, getting your hair done, nails, groceries, medical care, just the whole proximity of these amenities. If you don't have to spend time on the freeway, more wear and tear in your car, and I know that's kind of a factor in Seattle. What is it, the 405? Like everybody drives 45 minutes to an hour to work. Well, if you work in Chandler, you can live in Chandler. Like it's affordable. It's 50% less. From Seattle to Glendale, it's 61% less. So much more affordable. And there's all different parts of Glendale, and old and new, charming, maybe something mid-century, something maybe ranch style, something maybe super new, all kinds of different things. And the overall cost of living from moving from Seattle to Glendale is a 35% reduction in spending. So think about that. If you're making $100,000 a year, that's pretty easy to figure out. You're going to have an extra $35,000 to do whatever you want with. That's in simple math. All right, Portland, Oregon. That's my second biggest migration area. Portland, Oregon, if you were buying a home in Chandler, it's 21% less expensive. Glendale compared to Portland is 39%. And overall cost of living is 13 to 19%. People that are moving here from the Portland metropolitan area, it's less expensive. All right, here's a biggie. This is a biggie. San Diego. We all know California is really expensive. This is the only city that I picked to compare it to. We have Los Angeles, we have Santa Barbara, we have San Jose, we have San Francisco. Like there's so many, Sacramento, there's so many places. But San Diego, just because I like going out there a lot, and I enjoy it very much. But let me tell you guys, if you move to Chandler from San Diego, not only are you going to get a way newer home, because we don't have homes quite as old there in Chandler as we do, you know what I meant. 48% less if you move to Chandler, and 59% less if you move to Glendale. 59% less. Let me tell you, 28 to 33% lower cost of living, depending on where you live. All right. Fairfax, Washington. We've been getting a lot of people from the East Coast. Typically, we see people from New York and Boston and DC moving south into the Florida area. But as I kind of mentioned, I think that a lot of younger, non-retiree aged homeowners, they're not looking for a 30% retirement community. They don't want the high humidity, hurricanes. Ugh. And so they're coming out west, and we're getting a lot of people like from Fairfax, Virginia, Richmond, Virginia, Washington, DC, Baltimore, Maryland, that whole area. From Fairfax, 35% less in housing costs moving to Chandler, and 49% less in Glendale. So depending on where you're moving from, if you're moving from a super charming, cute place in Kansas and you're looking to move to the greater Phoenix area, it's going to feel expensive, that's for sure. I'm getting a lot of people, and I love working with people from Boston. I love the accent and the words that I'm not familiar with. 36% less in Chandler and 51% less in Glendale. So again, this has nothing to do with taxes. So don't forget also property taxes are significantly less here than most states. I'm not going to say all states, but all the states I just mentioned, it is lower here. And also income tax is significantly less. Let me tell you, just from coming from California to Arizona, anywhere in California, you're automatically taking home an extra 9% just because income taxes are lower. So for the last myth that Arizona is expensive now, wrong. All right, guys. So let me tell you, the only way we're going to be able to help you find the right area and help you make that move to the greater Phoenix area is by picking up that phone, giving us a call, shoot us a text, send us an email, days, nights, or weekends. We got your back when you're thinking about moving to the Phoenix area. And if you'd like to know more, you can also follow us below on our socials, as well as check us out on our website for more local information. All right, until next time, we'll see you soon. Be kind and enjoy your summer. Bye.